Welcome everyone. In this session, we'll apply various OOP concepts we have learned through hands-on exercises designed to combine the theory with our practice. So, in the last session, we learned abstract classes and the abstract method along with the ABC class. Today's session is all about practice. We will solve 5 exercises that combine multiple OOP concepts. Each problem will require design thinking and application of classes, inheritance, encapsulation, and abstraction. So our first exercise would be library management system, which emphasizes encapsulation class versus instance variables. Sorry, I meant class and instance variable plus the various properties. So the idea is to create a class book with private attributes like title, author, availability, add library class that holds a list of books and use property decorators to get or set the availability of books. So this is what we want to achieve. You can pause the video and try it by yourself. Otherwise, I will continue with the solution here. So as mentioned, our first class will be called as book, where we will have three inputs: title, author, and availability. So I am going to add this inside my initial init constructor, where I will get title, author, and is available I will always push as true, and where by using getters and setters methods we will be able to change this available value. Title and author I'm keeping as private, and available is protected here. So the first one would be like we will define a function available with a decorator property. So it will give us the access to change the availability status of the book, like, and along with it, what you can do is you can, like in this we are simply returning self dot available, meaning this is just a getter property. When we are considering the setter property, so we will do available dot setter here, and this method will allow us to modify the availability of status, whereas this getter method just allowed us to access or fetch the value of what is the availability status of that book. So here in this case, if the instance is status of as a Boolean kind, so we are just checking that is it true or false. If is of the Boolean kind, then we will like modify the value of availability status of that particular book. Then we have, this is like something new for us. We have a function underscore underscore str. So this is a kind of a special method which allows Python to format its output. It returns a friendly string showing the title, author, and availability status in our case. So it will be output will be self.title by author available if self available else checked out. Meaning if available is value is true, then it will be showing available as a string, or it will output checked out. Then we'll write our class library, which will just take a list of books. Like it's just used to maintain the books, and then we can have functions like add book. So to this list, we'll just append whatever new book you want to add. Show books will show the list of books, and here this will be particularly using this str method to automatically fetch the values, right? And yeah. So yeah, one more thing I missed here is like whenever we will use print here, there are then only this string method would be called. Otherwise, if you see here, I just directly did self.books.append. So this particular string method will not be called. Only when the print statement is used, that particular str special method is called. Now, to use this, what I will do is first I will create an object lib and call our library. Here I will be adding two books where I will pass the title and the author. So what happens is it goes to library, and as I'm using this, sorry, yeah, as I'm using the book, so title and author will be saved here, and availability by default will always be true. Then I can go ahead, and what I will do is I will do like add book to my library. So what will happen is this books will be added to my library, this which is another class for ourselves. Then for book one, I am stating the availability equal to false. Then Just to check the books, what I can do is lib.showBooks. So it will hit this showBooks function and will show us all the available books that are, and it will also show the availability status by formatting our output like this, either as an available or as checked out. So our expected output would be 1984 by George will be checked out and The Alchemist by Paul Coelho will be available. So let me just go and try to run this. So you can see 1984 by George Orwell checked out and Alchemist by Paulo Coelho is available. So how it works is, again, if I just want to repeat in just under 30 seconds. So lib, we created this library class as an object. We created two book objects from the book class, added two books to it. Then we pass these objects to the class library, which where we appended this as a list. After we appended this as a list, we changed the availability of book one equal to false, and then we used lib.showBooks, where it went and printed the books, but it formatted using this special method underscore underscore str. So this is how this code flow went on. Now we'll move ahead for the next exercise. So exercise 2 is bank account system, which emphasizes on inheritance, method overriding, and static method. So here we will be designing a base class account and have derived classes, saving accounts, and current account. We will override withdraw method defined in our base class account and also use a static method to validate account number format. So here, as we discussed, we will have a base class account. So it takes two parameters, account number and balance. Then we can make a deposit here where we'll just add the amount to the balance. Or if withdrawn, then we will check if the balance is not null. If it is not going to get null after like amount deduction, we will just simply uh, subtract the amount from the balance, or we will print insufficient balance, and we will have this display function showing what is the account and the balance here for us. And we have a static method to just check the validate the account number. If the account number is a string, it would be show true if consists of only digits, and it exactly has 10 characters. So we are just checking is instance of string is all digits and the length of the account number is 10. So this will just validate that we have a valid account number. Then we created two classes, savings account and current account, where we, in both the cases, we uh, like kind of inherited this account class, and we just wrote the withdraw functionalities here, where with respect to savings account, we added a limit of amount greater than 10,000 cannot withdraw, or if it is less than 10,000, then super dot withdraw amount. So this amount will be passed to the parent class, parent class's withdraw function here. And in the current account, we are directly just passing it to the original class, so that we don't need to like here we don't need to add any kind of a restriction. We can simply pass it to the parent class's withdraw function. Now here what we'll do is we'll create a savings account. We will pass 10-digit number and add 15,000 balance. Then we can have a current account and add 30,000 balance to it. Both are of class saving account and current account. Then we will try to withdraw 12,000 from the savings account, which shall raise an error that cannot withdraw more than 10,000. Then we will be withdrawing 20,000 from current account, which shall result in success. And when we try to just display both of their, I would say both of their values. So in the savings account, the it will be still 15,000 because no withdrawal happened, and in account two, that is what current account, will be shown 10,000 here. And at the end, we'll just try to validate like the splitting method which we created. We'll just try to test it out. Here you can see cannot withdraw more than 10,000 from savings. We got this error. Then when we withdrawed, so there was no particular message, so it withdrew successfully. And as we wanted and expected, the balance in the salary account sorry, savings account is now 15,000 and the current account is now 10,000, like because here 20,000 was withdrawn. And here it returns 2, meaning the account was validated properly. Then the next exercise we have is vehicle rental system, which combines abstract class and polymorphism. So this will help us and use the ABC class and the polymorphism capability. So here we are simply using an abstract class vehicle with an abstract method calculate rent. Then we will create bike and car subclasses with rent logic and accept any vehicle object in rental manager class. So let me close this, clean the terminal. So first we'll import ABC, like from ABC import ABC an abstract method. Then we will create our first class vehicle, which takes an input of brand and days. Days will be number of rental days. Brand will be the number of the vehicle, brand name of the vehicle. Then we will create abstract method. So abstract method would be used to calculate rent. Now here, why we define this abstract method is because we just want to take it as a blueprint and it will be overwritten in all the other, I would say all the other classes. This is just acts as a validation where if the other classes don't implement this method, then raise the error. Then we'll define our child classes that will be bike and we will have our calculate rent. So self dot days multiplied by 100 rupees per day, and with respect to car, we will calculate rent by multiplying 300 rupees per day. Now we have our fourth class, that is rental manager class, where we will have this rent vehicle where we'll just say what vehicle I want and what will be the rent for this particular vehicle. So first we'll initiate a rental manager class, like we will query what are the vehicles available for rent. Then uh, I will simply pass dot rent vehicle bike Honda and 5. So it will show me rent for Honda 500. If I pass car Toyota, so rent for Toyota will be 900. So here other way could have been you could have an object of bike. So we are doing the same thing here instead of just writing multiple times. What I'm doing is consider it as fetching data from my database. So I will have a bike class where I have like passing the variable as Honda is the brand and what how many days is it available. So for 5 days it is available. So rent would be 500. So this is how it shall work. So what happens here is this particular rental manager, if you see whatever particular object you pass, whether it is bike or car, according to its functionality, it changes its output, and that is why this is a form of polymorphism. And as we inherited vehicle class in multiple classes, so this is like kind of an uh, hierarchical inheritance formation. So as you can see, rent for Honda is 500 and rent for Toyota is 900 as we see here. The fourth exercise here we have is hospital management system where we will have doctors and patients and we will try to do a multi-class interaction and design and method overriding and data encapsulation. So for this, let's directly jump to the code. So how we are constructing this particular code's functionality is we will have a patient class with name, age, and disease. What are like and to just fetch the details of this particular patient. Then we will have a doctor. So in case you are going to attempt this exercise, you can still pause and try to define it by yourself. Define the functionality according to what you think how a doctor and a patient system shall be working in real life, and you can define it is in your own terms. There is no restrictions because this is just for practice, and you can practice by your own. And the more you create the workflow and more you practice by your own, the more you will understand where the errors are, and the more errors you will get, you will like in your future, you'll be easily able to debug them. Then the next we have here is our class doctor having name and specialization and diagnose what the doctor diagnosed the doctor diagnosed a particular patient with a particular disease. Then we have class hospital with the name of the hospital and list of admitted patients and assigned doctors. Then we will have function for admit patients, so patients are appended to it. If it is a assigned doctor, so doctors are assigned to it. And show summary, so it will show hospital summary with list of all doctor specialization and list of all patients and the details. And then we'll have loop, so what is like just for printing out everything. So let's say I will create two doctors, two patients, and then create a hospital object. And inside the hospital object, I will use the admit patient. So hospital will have this admit patient where I will just append my patient. So here admit patient, I will pass my patients, then assign doctor, I will assign the particular doctors to this hospital, and then I will just show the summary. So I can just simply do something like this. This is my city care hospital summary, who are the doctors, who are the patients, and if I just simply do doctor 1 dot diagnose patient 1, it will output me Dr. Sharma diagnosed Amit with hypertension. This is how you can use the doctor and pass in the patient to identify that this doctor diagnosed this particular patient. So this is how you can just simply define the hospital management system. Then the exercise 5 will have is e-commerce cart. It like consists of creating a product class, cart class. A cart can hold multiple products and tracking total cart value using composition. So here what we are essentially doing is we'll first have a class product with name and price. Then we'll have cart value, which will have a list where we'll store our product objects. Then we will add the product, meaning adding the items or the products to our items list. Then we'll have total price, the sum of all the products in our cart. Show cart, meaning it will give a cart summary. So we will have two products here. One will be normal shoes and one is t-shirt. So both having their own pricing. Then we can create a cart object and we'll add both these products to our cart. And then when we do show cart, it will give us this cart summary. So you can see how it gives the cart summary. Shoes were added, t-shirt were added, and the total amount. So what we did here is was first we created two products, both with their name and price. Then when we sent this both the products to the cart class, like the object created from the cart class, uh, we appended these products here to this items list. And when the total price was called, so when we call this self dot total price, what happens is it gives us an sum of item dot price for sum in self dot items. So it goes in self dot items list and calculates the sum using the list comprehension. And when we do show cart, what happens is print cart summary and it prints all the particular items and their price. And when this print statement is called, what happens is total amount self dot total price. So how you can see here is differences. When I did dot price, I didn't add this parenthesis, but when I call total price, I will call this parenthesis. Why? Because total price is a function here, and when I do self dot total price, meaning this function will be called because the self the particular object knows that cart is a class. And when I add parentheses here, it understands that total price is a function. It needs to call that. So when it goes to total price, it will check what are the items in the cart and just generate as a sum of that. And here I can see total amount is 3,700 here. So this is how the flow works, and this is what we call as composition. So yeah, so today we learned and tried to apply the OOP concepts we learned in the previous 5 to 6 sessions. We worked with encapsulation, inheritance, polymorphism, abstract classes, composition, then formatting the output with the underscore underscore string underscore methods. So these exercises are meant to improve design thinking, not just writing code. You can all write these classes, this functionality by your own selves according to how you know about the systems, how you know that what kind of features you want to implement it. So this will not just improve your code but also enhance your thinking capabilities. So yeah, so in the upcoming session, we'll explore iteration in Python, iteration and iterables. We'll understand what makes an object iterable, how the iterator protocol works, and how we define our custom iterations using iter and next function. So yes, thank you for joining the session. Let's meet in the next session. Have a nice day.